Rishi Sunak has become the third prime minister in less than 2 months, taking the helm during a political, social, and economic tempest. The task ahead of him is Herculean, with the estimated 8 million in the UK struggling to pay their bills and country's reputation rightly decided in the international media. Which leads us in today's question, which is how should Rishi Sunak address the UK's pressing economic problems? Well, one, he should fix the economy itself. Two, fight the inflation. And three, unite the parties to combat the first 2 points. Now let's break this down. First, fixing the economy. The Sunak has so far given little away about his plan once in office, extending to the top job virtually in silence following a fast-tracked leadership race over the weekend. However, as a former finance minister who steered Britain through the COVID-19 pandemic, recovering the UK's embattled economy and the country's status among the investment community is likely to be a top priority. In his inaugural speech as Prime Minister Tuesday, Sunak said the challenges facing the country were profound and pledged to place economic sustainability at the center of his agenda. Right now, our country is facing a profound economic crisis, Sunak said, outside Downing Street. Some mistakes were made, he continued, referring to the prior government of Liz Truss. I have been elected as leader of my party and your prime minister, in part, to fix them, and that work begins immediately. I will place economic sustainability and confidence at the heart of this government's agenda. This will mean difficult decisions to come, he added. It is expected that Sunak will retain the current finance minister, Jeremy Hunt, who is credited with claiming markets following the Truss government's cost-conscious mini budget, and who is due to set out the country's revised fiscal strategy Monday. Economists said that could go some way in the reasserting the UK's economic sustainability, but added that investors would be closely watching the forthcoming budget to see exactly how the pair plan to fill a gapping 40 billion or 45 billion in US in public finances. The fiscal rules are too loose, and the policies announced to fill the fiscal hole are considered unachievable. This won't rebuild credibility with investors. Ruth Gregory, a senior UK economist at Capital Economics, wrote in a research note Monday, which leads me into the second point: the soaring inflation and industrial unrest. Still, while Sunak is seen as having a safer fiscal hands than his predecessor, investors have warned that any relief rally in fiscal markets may be short-lived, as the new government has a long way to go in resolving the country's wider economic ills. The UK is the only G7 economy not to have reattained its pre-pandemic GDP level by the second quarter of 2022. Indeed, the economy shrank by 0.3% in August, according to the Office for National Statistics, with some ratings agencies predicting the UK is already in a full-year recession. It comes as the UK faces a labor crunch and continued industrial unrest, with widespread strikes among postal workers, rail workers, and public baristas having led to months of disruption. Meanwhile, UK inflation returned to a 40-year high of 10.1% in September, and energy prices continue to push higher following Russia's war in Ukraine, with some energy providers warning of a possible blackouts this winter. The UK still faces a storm of economic problems. Nigel Green, CEO of Devers Group, said in a note Monday, there's the brewing deep and painful recession, soaring energy prices, inflation running at more than 10%, labor gaps, ongoing supply chains, and the Bank of England intent hiking interest rates, which shows that Hong Kong should enact some policy combating these issues by having higher employment rates, by producing more jobs, and combating the inflation rate to reduce the economic struggle in the United Kingdom. Which leads to my third point: by combating these issues, as stated above, he would have to combat those, but in order to do so, he needs to unite not just the Conservative Party, but all parties within the Democratic Parliament, or not the Democratic Party, the UK's parliament. Sorry. Sunshak's task as a prime minister is further complicated by deep-rooted divisions within the ruling Conservative Party. Despite winning significant backing from Tory members of the parliament, Sunshak is considered a diverse figure within the party and was largely blamed for the demise of the former prime minister Boris Johnson after he quit as his finance minister. Sunshak's success will therefore closely depend on his ability to galvanize his party and unite them under his new economic and political vision. Clearly watched over the coming days will be Sunshak's appointment of his cabinet, which will provide him an opportunity to overhaul the top ranks of the party and appoint a board church of ministers from across Tory factions. The UK Foreign Secretary James Cleary told a news agency that Sunshak's government should feature the best ministers available rather than focusing on those who are loyal, as Truss was criticized for doing. Last thing I want to enter with this. In a statement issued on Sunday announcing his candidacy, Sunshak said the country is faced with a profound economic crisis. And as Britain is facing an economic toxic combination of recession and rising interest rates, the Bank of England trying to tame double-digit inflation while consumers face rising costs and falling real incomes. This is why Sunshak must combat the economic issues by fixing the economy itself. And to do that, you need to fix the inflation rate of 10% and combat the unemployment rates and combat other problems that exist that cause the economic storm in the UK, which is related to the pandemic. And by doing these issues, he needs to be able to unite the parties in order to pass legislation in the parliament. And this is how Rishi Sunak should address the UK pressing economic problems. Thank you.